Hey everyone, it's April here, and this month I've been participating in Figuary. Most of you probably have heard of it or are even doing it yourself. So these are some little sketches that I've done, and I really loved day 6 where we had this really cool expressive model, and my favourite pose was this little pose here. So I thought I would try and take the gesture drawing that I did and mix it up with this like outfit of the day, you know, that thing that people do. So I have this like board on Pinterest, and I just picked this one here, which I really loved, and I decided to merge the two things together and try to see if I could come up with something not original, but you know, a little more original than copying a reference photo from scratch. So I decided to draw it again to get more detail from the body and then kind of pop the clothes on top of the body. And the reference image I found was a girl doing some cosplay. She was dressing up like Matilda from Leon the Professional, which I remember seeing a long time ago, but I don't quite remember the film. But I think the girl, the character, like her clothes were really cool in the film. I looked up a whole bunch of different reference images after finding this one that I chose, and I just kind of mashed a few of them together because like the boots, for example, you couldn't see in the previous image. And then I used the old school tracing method because it was nighttime when I filmed this and I don't have a fancy light box. And I'm using some really basic cheap watercolour paper from a stationery store here in the UK, and my Gansai Tambi watercolours, which I haven't used for months. I've got this little cheat sheet of swatches in here that's super handy because the Gansai Tambi watercolours, as you can see, they're really dark when they're dry, and sometimes you think you're going for a blue and it turns out it's a purple or a pink. So those swatches are super helpful. So I did a few little colour comps to kind of figure out what colours I wanted to go for. I knew the general theme, but it was like the background and just kind of like what colour I wanted the hair, etc. So I found all the colours I wanted, and then I just jumped straight in and started painting. So I've been finding Figuary this month kind of a mixture of helpful and frustrating. I don't know if you guys have been following along. You watch this video first from Love Life Drawing, and they kind of give you a hint or a tip or a different technique to use, and then you watch Cookie Cafe where they have the life drawing video. So a few of the instructions from Love Life Drawing have been very frustrating for me. Like the other day we were learning how to do the overhand grip where you hold the pencil a different way, and I just could not get the hang of it at all. And then today's one was slow down and observe. So when you do your gesture drawings, which are like the really quick 1 minute drawings, you're meant to just take your time and draw the line really slowly, and I ended up drawing like an arm and half of a knee in a minute, so it didn't really work out for me. So I've been finding some of the days quite frustrating because I know that I'm meant to be learning, but I also want to enjoy it at the same time. And then on the other hand, it is quite fun because you do get out of your comfort zone and you try new things, and you're also getting a lot of life drawing in, which is helpful, and it's also one of my goals this year. So I'm not sure if you've seen my 2019 goals video that I posted at the beginning of the year, but my main goal this year is to focus on drawing people, full-length bodies, and people in environments and interacting with things. So this here is kind of like a really timid start to it. She's obviously not that action-y. She's just kind of like resting her knee on a plant, but it's a step in the right direction. It's not just a portrait. I also haven't used watercolours for a long time, so this was kind of like jumping back in, and I think a lot of my values are very light. I think when we start off watercolouring, or if we come back to it, we're kind of timid to use those darker tones. A lot of the tones are super light, like they could be a lot darker. The shadows don't really show up very well. I probably should have copied the reference image better with the shadows, which I haven't done here. I kind of ignored the reference when I got to this point and just focused on painting. And there's a lot of things wrong with this image, which you probably will notice, like the hands. I have no idea what happened with the hands. And also, I know in the reference image her foot wasn't shown here, so I didn't draw the foot. I did debate a long time whether to put a boot in because it kind of looks like her foot's been amputated there. And there's a few other issues with it, but to start, you know, a journey of drawing people in full bodies and trying to like branch out from portraiture, I think I did a pretty good job. And then this was the favorite part, which is kind of blocking in the background. I really didn't know what I wanted to do here, so I just did the old standard square of color, which I think is fine. And I chose this beautiful color from the Gansai Tambi watercolors. I think it's number 33. They don't have names, but it's this like beautiful orange, and I love the way the Gansai Tambi colors kind of spread in the water and separate, and when they dry they make these lovely patterns. So it was really nice kind of looking at that again after doing days of just pencil drawings in my sketchbook. Another thing I really love about these watercolors, you'll see me doing here, is they lift really easily. Even after they're dry, you can kind of scrub at the paper and they will lift up. So here I had the orange going into the arm a little bit, and I just worked at it and orange was gone. So I think these watercolors are really forgiving, especially when you're first learning how to watercolor, like me. And that's the like first stage of the watercolor, and then I go in and I do the leaves. So I've seen a whole bunch of people do amazing things with watercolors, and I love it when they go in and they add like special details to the leaves. I probably should have watched someone do it first because it didn't really have the desired effect I was looking for, but it was really fun to do, like just adding these little kind of like leaf shadow shapes in. And final touches are using this selection of random pencils. I just picked out a whole bunch of colours, and what I did is I kind of chose 2 or 3 different colours and I did the outline with them, but I didn't do like a solid line of colour. I kind of went back and forth between this grey blue, a blue and a red. So I've done it before in digital art, and sometimes I also do it when I'm drawing with pens or something, but I've never done it in pencil, and it was really fun. So you might see like I kind of break up some of the lines with the different colours, and I think it just makes it look a little bit more alive, if that makes any sense. Like it's not just one solid line of colour around the object. It kind of looks a little bit more organic, if that's the thing. And then the last thing I left till last, because I was really worried about getting it right, was doing the stripes on the lady. So I chose to do it in pencil because my watercolour hand skills aren't very good, and she's got quite large bosoms, so I was trying to get like the stripes right, how it would go across her body. Obviously I didn't have a reference to go with, so I kind of made it up and hoped for the best. I didn't think it turned out too bad. And some gel pen to finish, and then the piece is done. So that was my first time doing this little exercise where I take a life drawing pose and I mix it with clothes from a Pinterest reference. I think it's a really good way of practicing making poses without like having that pressure of having to think up a pose and clothes and everything at the same time. So definitely check it out if you're in the same boat as me and want to learn more about people drawing. Anyway, that's all for today guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.